It'll be interesting though to see if artists start smartening up though, because especially in more mainstream and hip hop music, you see a lot of people fighting for their masters now. Kanye's been very vocal about it.
The first question comes in from SubDarth, aka Taylor. He was in the Producer Dojo Discord, chatting it up with us, and he had a good one. He said, "What permanent effects do you see 2020 having on the music industry as a whole, positives and negatives?" What do y'all think?
That is a great question. I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately. So a couple things come to mind instantly. The first one is live streaming events, and like, is that ever going to be profitable? Like, are you ever going to be able to actually make money from an event online that now people have kind of gotten for free for a whole year and kind of expect it to be free? Like, are you going to be able to charge $100 for an online festival? Like, I don't.
That depends. Is it VR?
Okay,
and is VR at a place where we can support that?
That is actually the only thing that I could see providing above and beyond value that would make it worth it. But then you need to make sure that your subset of the population that likes your music also is VR capable. I just don't think that many people are yet. Like, I know that there is a very diehard, dedicated cross-section of the population that would fucking kill to have a VR live set, but I just don't think it's scalable to make money at the production level that you would want it to be at yet. I don't know.
Maybe next pandemic.
I don't know.
But the 2030 pandemic with the crazy VR whole full body suits is going to be crazy. Just watch it on the Star Trek holodeck. We're gonna be extra lit.
You heard it here first.
You can even smell the high guys sweat in front of you.
Yeah. But no, it is an interesting, like, when shows, if and when they get back to a sense of normalcy, like, what's going to be different about them? Like, is it just going to go back to the same kind of setup, or are people going to be like more afraid to leave their house? I mean, I was thinking for at least probably a year, you're going to have like a weird transition period of people that are like not
making out with strangers.
Well, yes. However, I was more referring to like the anxiety of like leaving your house after being in your house for a year, with basically told that the world is poison and you can't go outside your bubble. Like, even just like when I played that show in Ohio on Halloween, like even just going through an airport, like I was weirded out by it. And I love traveling. I was weirded out by the whole experience. I was like, I don't like this.
Well, let's say we get a vaccine and we just resume shit as normal within a year. What kind of lasting effects do you think it would have moving forward for artists and fans?
I'm interested to see how it's going to affect like venues and promoters getting back into the swing of actually making money from these things, because a lot of people that had, really established places to play shows and promoters that were doing this as their full-time job have had to pivot into something else. And I don't think they're just going to instantly pivot back. And you're going to get like a whole new crop of promoters that don't know what they're doing. And you're going to get a whole new crop of event thrower and event spaces that are kind of new to the game. And I think that that's going to be a double-edged sword, right? There's going to be some really cool, fresh, innovative ideas coming in, but it is going to kind of be I think a bit more of a Wild West for that kind of situation for shows and throwing shows when everything comes back. I do think that it is going to be an opportunity for like the upcoming crop of musicians who want to play, because I think a lot of people, by the time that we're actually back to normal, I think a lot of people that were on the verge of breaking out or wanting to make this a full-time thing and like had to transition into doing something else might have like completely moved on by then, right? So you might have more of an opportunity being like the guy on the edge right now if you stick with it and are ready to pull the trigger when everything goes back to the normal. So I think that's an interesting opportunity, or an interesting way to think about opportunity that could come out of this. But yeah, what do you guys think?
How you feel, Luke?
Well, I agree with you. You know, it's definitely going to be a double-edged sword on the live scene. Like, you know, one of the cool things is there, you know, a lot of practice and effort has had to go into different styles of shows and streaming shows. And, you know, yes, I feel like it's not going to be the same where people aren't going to want to go pay, you know, 50, 80, $100 to not go out to a cool venue with an amazing light show. But, you know, on the other hand, you know, people make a ton of money off TV. And if you can set it up right where you've got the right sponsorship and the money's coming in from the people that have it to spend and want to reach eyeballs, then that could be another avenue, another direction that it could go for making live streams profitable for the artists.
That's so
not saying that's a good thing, because then, you know, it's like Doritos presents.
Marshmallow.
Yeah, right.
Whoever, yeah.
Doritos.
Wasn't KFC played fucking Ultra, or what was it?
Great.
Colonel Sanders.
Dude,
Heard he threw down.
Doritos wants to pay me 50 grand to do a whole live stream special with Doritos all over it, and I make a Doritos backdrop with all the other visuals that are happening. Okay, at least someone's getting paid real money at that point. I like the idea of, like, so in my head when you said that, I was thinking like, so Hulu or Netflix would have a section that's like music events, and you'd have a company that pays X amount of dollars for artists and visuals and stuff, and you put together like a whole hour-long or 2-hour-long or whatever it is, like, event that's really fucking cool to watch and high production value. And then it's like a thing that like people can watch at home, like they're partying or whatever, and they're like, let's throw on X person's set on the TV, and it's like already on a streaming service that they pay for. And because that is a very poppin' revenue stream right now, and there's people willing to spend money on that, which is not the case for normal revenue streams for DJs right now. So
That's true.
I love that.
And speaking of that, like, I mean, like, my brother and his friends do really like putting on somebody's set. Like, they'll, you know, throw on like EDC and Ultra sets, and like, oh yeah, man, so and so was so great this year. Let's watch it again while we just hang out in the living room and get high or whatever. You know, like, it's you know, it's cool. You know, it's like. And especially, like you're saying, if they make it really visually appealing, like it could be the music version of, you know, watching a stand-up special on Netflix or Hulu or wherever.
I'm surprised it hasn't been done more already.
It has, for free on YouTube, which is why it'll be really interesting to see how they pull that off. And I could see that being very lucrative, actually, if they implemented like a behind the scenes or get to know the artist or an artist's cut version where they like talk over the songs, or where it's like spliced in with studio footage and stuff like that, and give like multiple perspectives on that like experience of these songs. Like, to me, to see the live set is one thing, and it's very entertaining and stimulating, but it's on YouTube already. But if you can add like additional content or different perspectives for the same content, it's as if you like now made this 3D thing that you could view from multiple sides. So I think there's a lot of potential there to make it cool and interactive, but also a fun thing you could just put on in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that could be really cool.
I really want the DJ commentary over the top that's just him screaming over distorted into a mic. 3, 2, 1, jump! And then I know when to dance at home, because that's the whole that's the trigger for me to dance at a live show too. And I don't want to miss that at home.
Yeah, I stand stock still in the middle of the crowd until the DJ screams. And if I can hear it 100% clearly, I don't believe it.
Yeah, no. I need to know when to put my hands up, when to jump.
Not only your hands, but your fucking hands.
I can't count to 4 usually. So being able to get like the first 3 to get me going, I really like
Yeah,
that.
it's an educational experience. But yo,
So I
on a
prefer dancing
serious
to
note,
house music. One. I got this.
honorable mention to rhythm as well.
Oh, I can usually get to two.
But one interesting thing that I've been thinking about recently, actually, on this topic is we are always thinking of it from this perspective of like lower to middle tier artist and fan slash concert goer slash whatever. And I think we've covered that ground decently well. And I agree with all the points that have been brought up. One thing that I've been really thinking about this last week, especially, what about all the people that hit that mainstream deal and they got that 1 mil advance, they got that 500K advance, and first off, didn't realize they were losing half of it to taxes and overspent on their album, and then got hit with this shit, and then realized that everything they do, their label has a cut in, and they can't tour. And that deal that they thought was amazing, $1 million up front, now they made it, quote unquote, but that big revenue stream where they were supposed to be getting 20, 30, 50K a show, that's just gone. And the labels got 80, 90% of whatever the fuck else you got. To me, that's an interesting situation to think from, because that's the point everybody wants to get from, and everybody thinks like, oh, I'll make it, and then I'll have this, and then life will be sick, and then I'll do music all the time. What about the people that just got hit with this bullshit that didn't expect it, and maybe they didn't manage their advance right? Maybe they had that tour booked that was going to rake them in 200K, and they had to cancel that shit, and they spent the 200K beforehand. How do you think their position's like?
Dude, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, those are the people that like were gonna make it and aren't. Unfortunately,
it'll be interesting though to see if artists start smartening up though, because especially in more mainstream and hip-hop music, you see a lot of people fighting for their masters now. Kanye's been very vocal about it. Russ is coming out and like showing his income statements and showing how he's been able to manage a six-figure income monthly from his streaming catalog alone, because he owns his whole catalog minus like 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
So to see someone like him thriving and encouraging other artists to rethink these contracts, and I've been seeing a lot of other, people that have been in the industry for a while, especially like some hip hop legends coming out now and like talking about how younger artists are getting finessed on these deals. And you kind of think that's like the checkpoint, or that's the finish line in the race, when you can slow down a bit and eat the fruits of your labor. But to think about, that didn't save so many artists from this pandemic. So are artists gonna start to smarten up and realize that labels can really only help you out with really a handful of things that you could get one of your homies to do? And I'm not saying it's not worth it to work with a label, because it is worth having some stress taken off your plate, but you need to be like smart with how you're managing these deals and stuff, especially if you're starting to get some traction and there's some money involved. Like, really consider what you can do by yourself and where you can create leverage for yourself when you do start to work with people.
That's a really good point. And coming off that, like you're mentioning people like Russ and Kanye and other folks like coming out about these kinds of deals that happen, and that's definitely going to be part of the legacy of 2020, is all of these things coming out. Like, everything slowed down and people had a chance to talk more and tweet more and write an article on Medium or whatever they did to talk about how this is not what it's cracked up to be, and things need to change, and how there's still these clauses that have been in record contracts since the 60s that just never changed. Like, I've heard of stuff where it's like they've got what's called a breakage clause, which is literally a clause that was put in there because some of the vinyl records, when they shipped to Tower Records or wherever, would get cracked in shipping. And so that the label had to keep an extra 25% of all mechanical royalties just in case they had to recoup on the breakage. And it's like, yeah, nobody's had a significant vinyl sales, amount like that to a store in how long? Like, but those can still be tucked in to the contract. And so like the rethinking of what fairness in the music industry means is definitely going to be part of the legacy of this year. And that's definitely a net positive.
I like it. What's up, humans? It's Luke, your friendly neighborhood trap Jesus. Thanks so much for watching the podcast, checking out our videos. We truly appreciate you. So, Rip Kenny, Tesco, and myself got you a gift. We made you a free sample pack. It's got basses, it's got FX, it's got crazy percussion and Foley sounds, and it's free. It's all yours. Just click the link in the description below. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and share this with your friends. We appreciate you. Peace out and peace among worlds.